Good morning, YouTubers. T-Square with T-Square Talk. Hope everybody's having a great day. I don't expect today to be a really long video. I don't think it will be, but who knows? Once I get talking, you know how I am. I'm definitely not short-winded. Today, I want to talk briefly about being careful what you wish for. With the silver and gold price starting to move really rapidly, I think a lot of people are starting to realize, oh my word, I'm not quite getting as much as I used to for my money, including myself, I'll be honest. But I've been down this road before. I remember when it was $15, $16 silver, and when it jumped up to 20, 25, 30. Each time we make a next jump up, I'm always telling myself, man, what happened to the days of 7 ounces for $100? Now, you ain't even gonna get 3 ounces for $100 now of silver, and gold just really exploding in price. So we're gonna talk about some of that today. Before we get started, special thank you right off the bat to all of our members. I will be doing a live video this weekend, where we will be giving away one of those spiders to one of our members. That is not the monthly event. That is the extra thing that we had done, and every member will actually have an entry in there. Even if you become a member today for $1.99, you will have an entry in there. It's going to be a lot of fun. For those of you that don't know what the coin is, I'm going to jump over real quick so you guys can kind of see, and then I'm going to show you what these are right here. So a couple minutes just before we get started. So this is going to be what we're going to be giving away this weekend for one of our lucky members. If you don't know what the membership deal is, the membership deal is just you pay $1.99 and you become a member. And every month we do special events. And some months, like I said in the past, this month's going to be a pretty fun month. We had some stuff donated. I got a lot of those spiders. I got over 100 of them certified spiders in, and they're pretty cool. So I said, you know what, I want to give one away. And we ended up doing the coin roll hunting, and that was how we put extra entries in for people. Also, someone had mentioned, and I didn't forget it. It's been sitting on my desk for a while. A while back, I had done a idea for a giveaway where it was a Where's Waldo or a Find Me, Where's T-Square, because someone had figured out who I was right down to all my personal information of who I am. And so I ended up wanting to take down some videos, and I said that if anybody could tag me on a video and find me, I would end up giving them an entry. So I haven't calculated all of them because there was an issue with the comments that I'm still trying to figure out how, because when I click the comment to change it, it ends up taking away the video, and on top of that, then I lose the comment too. So that's why I'm having a little bit of an issue with that. It is a 1/10 of an ounce silver eagle, which is pretty cool. So that was an open to everybody event that we're going to do. So I don't want people thinking that I forgot about it. With that being said, we're going to jump into the video. If you enjoyed today's video, please take a quick minute, hit that thumbs up button for me, help me out. I can't thank you enough. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Like I said, a special thank you to all of our members. If you'd like to become a member, it is only $1.99. Every month we do some sort of special event where you have a shot at winning an ounce of free silver. It's a lot of fun, and you don't have to be present. Obviously, it's cool if you are present, but you don't have to be. So with that being said, let's jump in and get talking about what's going on. So right off the bat, we'll take a look first at the silver price. We got the silver price trading right this minute at $32.45. I'll be honest, I'm a little discouraged. For those of you that don't know, my money resets. Essentially, how I buy my account refreshes on the 17th of every month, and here we are on the 17th, and now the price is a whole lot higher than it was only literally 5 days ago. I mean, think about that. Why does that bug me a little bit? So, you know, that falls under the be careful what we wish for. You know, obviously we all want silver and gold to go up in price. I mean, that's the whole point of why we invest in it. We want to see it go up. It's great that our wealth is worth more. I actually had a long debate with a good friend of mine today when I showed him the gold price, which we're going to take a look at right now. I mean, it went up over $100 yesterday. That was a big jump. in one day. Now it's trading down $16. I don't know how long that will hold. That was a huge gain that we saw yesterday. I myself was super excited about it. However, when I was sitting down talking to him, I ended up drove all the way out there, and we looked at his coins, his gold coins, and he was doing kind of an inventory of them, you could say. And he asked me to take a look at them, and I was like, yeah, I'll drive out there. So as we're sitting there talking, he asked me, he goes, does it really matter what the price is? And, to a certain point, it doesn't. It doesn't. Why? Because we're not selling. A lot of us, you guys, a lot of you watching this video are in the same boat as me. You're not selling your inventory right now. Whatever you have, you're just building up. You're looking for deals. You're picking up stuff when you can. We all want to see the price go up higher, obviously, because what we've invested in, we don't want to see it go down. But if we truly believe in what we're buying, it only makes sense that you want to get more of it. Getting more of it gets harder as the price climbs more rapidly. Taking a look really quick, zooming out on even a 1 month chart on gold, you can see that gold only a month ago literally was $3,000. Think about that. And it hit $3,000 twice in the last month, actually. Because we saw that big dip down on like April 8th where it went down under $3,000. April 8th, think about that. It was only 10 days ago. $3,000, and now we're at $33.25. What you have to understand with this, though, is what kind of gain is that? Yeah, we see the big number, $325. That's huge. It's only really 10%. But here's the thing, 10% when you really look at it, that is great for a month. But it makes it harder and harder to buy it. He had asked me, he goes, are you buying any ounces? I laughed. I said, I can't afford an ounce of gold right now. I'm lucky to pick up a couple of tenths now at this point with the prices as high as they are. I went kind of big in, here in this area, and then we seen it dip, and then here I was complaining that, darn, if I had only waited, it seems like whenever I buy, boom, we see that dip. But did it really matter as it climbed even higher? Almost anything you have ever bought in gold is worth more money today than it was when you bought it. It would be hard for someone to, well, actually, I think it would almost be, I won't say impossible, but it would be hard to have lost money on gold the way gold is climbing right now. Take a look at the 3-month chart. A whole lot higher. We were down at 3 months ago, we were down at 2,900. 6 months ago, we were down at 2,600. I don't want to say year to date because that's actually less than 6. Go out a full year, we were down to $2,300. So, and then here's the thing. Let's take a look at, and now I'm cherry picking. I mean, October 17th, 22, we were down $1,600. It's a little bit of a cherry pick on that number because I could have picked like this number when we were at 2,000, but I picked here at 16. Because once it hit that 2,000, it had that nice big pullback, $400 or 20%. But how long did it really take to recover? It didn't take no time at all before it already had recovered. And now we're starting to see it go a little more parabolic. And you see times like this in history where you can see these huge jumps where people just get on it and it produces a mania and then it fizzles down a little bit, but it never goes back to what it previously was. Same with here. We had this big mania, $300 gold, and then it shoots all the way up to almost 2,000. And then we have a pullback to right around $1,200. There was a low here, somewhere in here, because this is when I started stacking roughly, that you could have picked up gold for $1,000 if you, I don't know exactly where it's at. I'd have to feel around to find the exact spot. But, that $1,000, I mean, we had a 50% pullback, but it didn't take long, and then it was right back up there. And now we're starting to really go up parabolic again. And you can tell when you look at these charts that it's only going to get more and more expensive as time goes on. And a lot of that has to do with the dollar being debased as we print more and more. A lot of it has to do with basically all the printing that they're doing. And now there's a lot of talk now about having banks basically cover the bonds, the U.S. Treasury bonds that are being sold off by a lot of countries. They want banks to start buying them, and how they're secure, and you can't lose when you're buying bonds from the United States. It's just a matter of time before they start asking everyday people to invest more into bonds. And we've been down that road before. The thing is, if you convince the banks to do it, the banks have your money, and the banks can't lose. Because let's be honest, what's going to happen? Well, obviously the United States is going to bail them out if something happens, and banks tend to go riskier and riskier. And that's kind of part of the problem that's going on right now is when you look at everything literally across the board, risky lending and over-indebtedness, not just on behalf of the government. I mean, some people out there have no right almost to be talking about the government overspending if they can't even get their household in order. We're on a super smaller scale if you're in a household, and a lot of people can't get their debt under control. Now, I use debt on a regular basis. You guys know that. That's why I say when my money rolls over on the 17th. Why does it roll over on the 17th? I don't get paid on the 17th of every month. However, I say my money rolls over because when my money comes in, I use that to pay my credit card bill. My credit card bill, I put whatever I want on it, and I make sure I don't go over how much I can afford to pay off when the bill comes. Now, sometimes I might go over by a couple $100, and I just say, you know what, I'll make it work. In some cases, I might get a really good deal on maybe 100 ounces of silver, and I can only afford maybe 50. And usually I'll pass off those other 50 to friends. And I've had people say, why do you sell it, dude? Why would you sell? Because I can't afford to buy 100 ounces, but if I'm going to get a better deal on 100 ounces, I'm going to buy the 100 ounces. I'm going to save money. I'm going to help a friend save money, and they're getting something quality. Do I make a profit off it? No. I end up helping them out, and in the process, I'm helping myself out. It would be almost like if every one of us stackers in the world or in the United States all decided to buy in one order. Well, we wouldn't be buying from small bullion companies. We'd be buying right from the manufacturer, right from the source. But then we would be the ones responsible to divvy it up. Well, in my case, I sometimes will put in that big order and divvy it up amongst some of my friends. And I get a really cool video when I package open it and here on YouTube. So real quick, I want to take a quick minute before I come back and talk some more about this to jump over and take a look at what is going on some of the other stuff. We got the DXY trading at $99.66, up a little bit today, which is kind of surprising with the new sanctions that are on Iran. That has caused oil prices to start to climb again. Also, we've had a lot of OPEC countries put production cuts in place. How long can they keep the production cuts? I really think it was a rough situation. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and criticize someone's decision for sanctions or whatnot, because ultimately, if you don't have an answer or a solution, you can't complain on someone else's solution. That's part of the problem, I think, with a lot of people now. They want to complain about one person's solution, but then they don't have another solution. Obviously, they do want to weaken Iran, and they believe that with sanctions on Iran, on their oil, then that will weaken them to a certain point. The problem with that is there's a possibility that Iran is still going to sell to somebody else. But we'll see how that plays out. Oil price did jump a lot today and went up like another $2 today, as we were really doing cheap oil for a little while. And then with that comes cheap silver, I think. As oil price goes up, gold goes up, silver goes up, everything we buy goes up. Jumping in real quick, taking a look at the Dow Jones. The Dow Jones, kind of funny today. Dropped 700 points. I'm going to tell you why I think that's funny, because we have had some extreme volatility lately. You've got it down 700 points. What I find funny about this is we've been down this road before with stocks. I remember in 2000 during the dot-com bubble. I remember in 2008. Both those times I was heavy in the stock market, doing pretty much day-to-day trading. I actually talked with one kid the other day, and he was telling me, no, I quit my job. I'm day trading now. And I said, what? He goes, yep. This is a young kid, and he's doing exactly what I used to do when in 2000. In 2000, I was in the military, and I remember being in the Middle East Day trading at night, because the New York Stock Exchange is open at night if you're in the Middle East, only because of the time change difference. And I was sitting there on watch with a buddy of mine saying, why am I here, bro? How much did you do in the stock market today? And he'd tell me, and I'd tell him, and I'd be like, dude, we don't get paid that in a month, but yet we're out here doing this. And it drove me nuts. I enjoyed serving my country, but on the flip side, it was sad when you're making more money in the stock market. But the thing is, the volatility in the stock market right now is opportunity, but with every opportunity, somebody is losing. So when you're buying essentially a stock at a super awesome deal, someone else is selling it at a loss, and vice versa. So once you realize that, you understand that with all the volatility going on right now, who do you think's winning? Do you think it's the big players, or do you think it's the average everyday players? Most likely it's the big high-frequency traders, the big companies, and there is a huge amount of volatility right now, and almost everything is showing up in the red over not just today, over a 5-day, over a month, maybe even 6 months. Year to date, I mean, I don't know, a year it might be in the green. Yeah, if you go back a year, but the year chart is awesome because you can kind of see these big drops, then big jumps. But when I see this stepping down process, this can go on for a while, just like the up phase had been stepping up with little drop and then higher highs and higher lows, and it had kept going for a while. But now there's so much uncertainty, I expect more and more people to end up losing, to end up selling off, and you'll see this stepping down carry on for a little while. I actually was watching one financial person that I follow, and he said we'll be lucky if we see the DXY over 100 again anytime soon. I think that's a little premature to call, only because we're so close to 100. However, I don't think we're going to see it back up to 110 anytime soon. Especially, like I said, with the huge amount of volatility that's out there. So jumping back in, Dow Jones down 700 points today, ending the day now at 39,669. NASDAQ not faring any better. NASDAQ down over 3%, down 516 points. Another thing that continues to be in the red. Yeah, we have one good day, and then you have 2 or 3 bad days. It kind of neglects that one big drop. And once you understand that, we're stepping down. The stock market is slowly being sold off. Why? I mean, a lot of people are just discouraged with it right now. Some people are moving into precious metals. More and more people are moving into gold. Some people are moving into digital gold, which I'm not a fan of. You guys know that. I won't say that I'm not a fan of the technology. I'm just not a fan of specifically Bitcoin because I think it is overvalued and it's just a cryptocurrency. It's almost like saying Yahoo is the number one, or AOL is the number one internet provider. Well, at a time, AOL was the number one internet provider, and their stock was up there, and it was a great company, and this and that. But eventually, someone new stepped into the picture and took it over. Google stepped up, and now Google is the number one provider. Google was not the starting person. It was not the starting company. It was not the first. It was a secondary. And it's almost every company. No company that comes out at the beginning ends up staying on top forever. Usually, they end up getting kind of taken down a notch. And you can look back with AT&T, you can look back at multiple different companies and see that the people that started the industry are not the ones that end it. And I think Bitcoin is going to be no different. I think Bitcoin was the opener. It's the most expensive crypto, but little by little, other cryptos are rising. Some are falling. A lot of them will be wiped out. Will Bitcoin be here to stay in 20 years? Who knows? But there's some people that I talk to that say their goal is not to be in it in 20 years. Their goal is to make a nice chunk of money and get out. I told you guys before, I had one friend that he bought in. He's in at 85,000. You've got it now at 84.4. Is he going to sell out when he recoups? Now, when it plunged, yeah, he was nervous. He said, hey, if I can get back out at 85, I'm going to get out. As soon as I can get all my money back, I'm happy with that and I'm running. But here's what happened. Greed steps in. And as it climbs and people start talking more and more about how we're going to have huge gains, then people start questioning, do I really want to get out? And greed does that with everything. It does that with gold, silver, stocks, everything. I personally, though, don't view it the same as gold and silver because I think gold and silver has been here since the beginning of time. If the currency collapses, yes, gold and silver will come down. But it will only come down in the form of a new monetary system, I guess you can say. And what I mean by that is, a silver quarter has almost always bought you a gallon of gas. Well, right now, you can get more than a gallon of gas for a silver quarter. You can almost get 2 gallons of gas for a silver quarter. So you have it kind of overvalued. However, if the dollar was to go away and we rolled out some brand new currency, it's safe to assume that a silver quarter would still buy you a gallon of gas compared to even the new currency. I would almost be willing to bet that would be how it would play out. However, I'm not a licensed financial advisor. I'm not telling you guys my thoughts and opinions on this. Because gold and silver has always had value, at certain points of time when they have mass influxes of cash or fiat currency, it seems like your gold skyrockets in price, which is exactly, and silver, what's happening right now. Now, we see other prices go up too, but not always does every price go up at the exact same time. Some people want to cite eggs. Well, it's a little unfair to cite eggs when you just wiped out hundreds of millions of chickens due to some kind of virus, But also, it's unfair to compare silver to something else when silver is being manipulated heavy. You have 360, I think 320, I don't even know what it is. It's been a little while since I looked at it. Short contracts against silver, every ounce of silver. It's ridiculous. So it's being manipulated down. So it's hard to really get the true values of everything. But what we are seeing is higher and higher prices. I don't know if I said the NASDAQ. I have to say the NASDAQ because one of my favorite subscribers is big on, dude, you got to say the NASDAQ, man, because that's our retirement. So S&P 5,275 down 120 or 2.25%. So a lot of people's retirement right there dropped 2.25%. But right now, like I said, we're seeing gold and silver climb at a rapid rate. And even though we want to see silver climb higher and higher, on the flip side, we want to get more of it. And these higher and highs and higher lows, look at just recently. We'll do a year-to-date chart. We've seen it climbing. We've seen that devastating pullback where a lot of people were really upset. Some people even said, oh, you're a pumper and dumper. Silver plunged all the way down. It actually went down to 28 and 30 cents, I think it was. It's not showing it on this chart, though, because of the way the hourlies get cut out. It was short at that price really quick, and then all of a sudden it popped up. Needless to say, look, we haven't even recovered that point yet. Now, here's the thing. We can already see that it's climbing back up. It's not going to be long before we see it happen just like gold when you look at year-to-date on gold. We've seen it trucking higher. We've seen it get the big pullback. Then we've seen the jump and then off to the races again. And it's the same thing, I believe, with silver, even though a lot of people want to kind of say that's because silver's manipulated, it can never go higher. I find it really interesting that silver is doing a pretty good job keeping right around, not quite, but right around the 100 to 1 during the days. It's a little bit over the 100 to 1 right now, gold-silver ratio, because as night trading is taking effect, gold is still up higher, and silver has taken a loss throughout the night. It dropped 20 cents. If I pull back out, you can kind of see that it hasn't really been doing much tonight. We're seeing pullbacks. One of the things I don't ever like to buy on Wednesdays, I always tell people Wednesdays always seems like the worst day to buy coins. Why? Because price always almost seems like it's the highest on Wednesday. I always like to buy either Monday mornings when we see that nice dip coming off that dip on Monday morning, or Friday when literally the markets get beat down at the end of the day on Friday, and it's an opportunity to pick stuff up. And then sometimes you'll even see it dip lower on Sunday night, but depending on how you do your buying, it's hard to buy in the middle of the night on Sunday night or Monday morning at like 3 a.m. It's hard to pick up stuff. So really the big topic for the video was be careful what you wish for. We want to see it go up, but we also want to get more. If you've been stacking for a long time and you have enough, congratulations, because the majority of the people I've always talked to, I've never found anybody that says they have enough. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that you're trading something that is going down in value, fiat dollars, it's being debased, and you understand that. And therefore you want more gold and silver. You want to get out of something that's going down as quick as you get it. Unfortunately, the world doesn't work off gold and silver. You have to, most people go to work, they get a paycheck in the form of dollars or whatever the fiat currency is in your country. And essentially every day that gets dwindled down in purchasing power. And we'll see how that plays out in the long run. I expect it's going to continue to go down. There have been spurts in history where the fiat dollar, something major happens, and it really strengthens, and you are able to buy more for a short period of time with your dollars. But them are very small spurts in time. So we'll see how it plays out. I thank everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Like I said it wouldn't be a long video, but 26 minutes, I would say I was right on par with that. Even though at the very beginning I was just explaining a couple things with the members events. Thank you all for watching. Be careful what you wish for. Opportunities are slowly going by. I'm curious to see how Thursday today and Friday tomorrow are going to play out. Personally, I'd like to see a little bit more of a pullback. I would love to see us get back down to $30.31. However, that would be a $2 drop, and unless we see some sort of a really big smackdown by the powers that be, I don't know if we're going to see that. I think there's more updraft than there is things pulling it down, but we'll see how it plays out. Ultimately, in the long run, I am convinced that gold and silver are just going to continue to go higher, even though, like I said, we might get that little dip where we see a nice little pullback and a buying opportunity. That's why I'm hesitant to rush out today and jump in and buy what I wanted to buy. Now, if I see a dollar drop, I might cave and just hurry up and buy. With that being said, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you took a quick minute, hit the thumbs up button. It really helps me, especially if you made it to the end. Some videos, it's getting harder and harder to come up with topics just because, you know, what can I say? Silver and gold's going higher. Okay, that's pretty self-explanatory. If you literally put even a little bit of research into it, you can clearly see gold and silver is going higher, and there's nothing that's really going to stop that, in my personal opinion. So me making these videos, I sometimes wonder, I mean, what more can I say? With that being said, more people are getting into it, so thank you all for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. I will see you guys again on T-Square Talk. Be sure to check out some of these other great videos, and have a great week, rest of your week. We are 2 more days, and then we're the weekend. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye-bye.